Hello everybody, how are you doing? I'm doing fine, I'm doing okay, and today in our studio we're gonna have a really nice and interesting game which I was playing on my PlayStation 5, and the name of that game is Dynasty Warriors Origins. So it's kind of amazing to consider that the several years have been the longest period between Dynasty Warriors release since 20 years. And Dynasty Warriors 9 was full 7 years ago, and on top of that, there has only been one of the Dynasty Warriors sub-series released since then. It's been a downright draw for a series that has been infamous for churning them out. That time has been used well because Dynasty Warriors Origins is a proof that Koei Tecmo sat down, thought long and hard about what makes the series tick with fans, and has delivered something refined, intelligent, and delivered a confident new step for a series going forward. Gone is the open world experiment that went down as well as the lead balloon, even with the most of faithful um fans, well, not me, but I'm happy that they are developing their project. What we have in the place is largely linear stories of the battles that take you right throughout about half of the events covered by Romans of the Three Kingdoms. No doubt there's setting up either DLC releases of the Origins 2 to follow soon thereafter, and people might be motion as they explode. But it's a defensible decision by Koei Tecmo, where previous Dynasty Warriors have been the breeze throughout the key events in their efforts to cover everything. Origins goes effort to effort of telling far more substantial story. Take the Yellow Turbans, for example. In previous Dynasty Warriors games, and the entire rebellion would be decided in the single cutscene or two. Um, a single battle resulting the fall of Zhang Zhu, and the game would move on to the next major conflict, which would also be just a couple of battles. With Dynasty Warriors Origin, however, far greater effort has gone into establishing the character of Zhang Zhu, explaining the political context and motivations of the Yellow Turbans, and how each of the figures that fought against them saw the rebellion of the role-playing in China. Obviously, it's nowhere near as detailed as you find in the book, but there is a clear, genuinely effort by Koei Tecmo to tell a coherent story that serves as more authentic adaptation of the book. With this being said, I'm not sure about the protagonist, rather than gives you control over any one of the historical of linear fighters. In Dynasty Warriors Origins, you play as a nameless wanderer who jumps in to help out various figures during their key battles. Narrative and mechanical reason to do it is sound enough that allows Clay to have moved from fiction to fight in battles right across the China without trying to explain why a real historical figure is somewhere where they shouldn't be. Thanks to this, you'll be able to fight against Li Bi, Cao Cao, and the Sun family without breaking authenticity of the novel. Fortunately for the reason Koei, they decided to give the border narrative arc of its own, featuring amnesia, mysticism, destiny, and whatever else. Perhaps they felt was important to character felt like an actual participant in history, but Koei Tecmo doesn't have Lu Ganzhou among its writing team, and I've dubbed the writers that series didn't get studies of Ganzhou work. I doubt any of them completed any research about that on the book. But in other words, that tension does undermine the narrative, the experience, or somewhat. Um, so on plus side, Koei Tecmo has gone to great length to bring an authentic quality from the book into the games. Yes, Dynasty Warriors has been known for its over and over numbers casualties that slightly get the cause, and there is also the boss battles, which you'll be go shortly. But however, at the same time, the characterization of it's more restrained and less cartoonish. It feels like the Koei team has carefully read throughout everything, the descriptions and stuff. So it feels like Koei team did their job. But honestly, I can even remember where I first came across this quote, but one of my favorite statements about historically fiction is historically fiction isn't history, but it can reveal the historical truth that lie beyond the evidentiary. Dynasty Warriors, particularly the later ones, and most particularly now, is better historical fiction than among anyone will give credit for. It is an authentic reason for them fascinating figures that can understand, become interested in, and want to learn more about. It's by no means a textbook, but you come out of Dynasty Warriors Origins with a better understanding of the game, events, characters, and overall history with anyone previous games in the series, or just in general from video games. You have stand, strong, and musou attacks, as well as the ability to stun an enemy if you deplete their shield rating by attacking them furiously enough. You'll be able to take into the battle into 9 different weapons, each with a significantly different feel for them, and there are 2 defensive menus, parry and dodge, both of which you will need to make library of use it. That's more or less are the combat system, with some of the superfluous system of the recent Dynasty Warriors games that resulted the pointless overcomplexity left to the wayside. Thanks to the speed of the action and the way the developers also do several clever things to keep you in your toes, too. Firstly, in most level, there are multiple completing objectives, so you need to think carefully about what's going on around the battlefield and shift quickly between defending the key characters and locations before going on a trek to try. Capture strategic points, defeat enemy leaders, and yeah. Secondly, ever so often, there will be a critical battle in which thousands of soldiers on each side will mass and then clash. They are incredibly dangerous places to be, and even on the easier difficulty levels, you can find your health depleted quickly. If you end up swamped by enemies or isolated away from the main force, in these moments you need to defeat enemy leaders quickly, while also completing objectives will prevent the enemy from executing catastrophic tactics. You also will have to do while dodging unblockable enemy attacks. Having multiple leaders come at you simultaneously, and you'll be in the chaos where there's so much movement that it's difficult to keep track of all of it. These movements are always major set pieces for the stage of boxing, if exhausting and exciting. Finally, there are major capture bosses battles, and once to the end of a level, but characters like Zhang were there, one-on-one, fightable battle, and level itself. Koei Tecmo has learned little something from the Soul series and its own games like Naya or Wulong here. It's not difficult as soon those games, but it remains much of the same discipline. Their enemies will cycle throughout a range of devastating attack patterns, and you will need to learn how to dodge, parry, move, attack, and otherwise respond to each while also launching your own attacks to where they held down. These battles are multi-stage and quite lengthy at 10 more minutes to play out, and fast. You'll be need to ride on your toes throughout. So yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I strongly recommend you this game because it's more classical and thoughtful than something innovative. So yeah, have a good one. Bye bye. Peace.